Hi friends, and welcome back to the next edition of the Stranded Noob Survival Challenge. I'm your host, the Obsidian Noob, and if you're new here, this is a survival challenge to see how far through the game I can get using just this lonely island. Though things have changed quite a lot from the early days, and in today's episode, we take another leap forward into development. You can see behind me some of the new builds, so let's get straight into it. But first, if you love content like this, be sure to subscribe to the World of the Obsidian Noob, and if you wouldn't mind dropping me a like, that helps me grow as well. Now, let's get into today's episode. Coming up, I demonstrate the importance of why fishing, although boring, can be very useful. We take a big step forward in getting an enchanting room set up, and that enabled us to get to this point, where we get ready to see what lies through here. Today's episode starts with a short journey offshore, and this is all thanks to all of you that voted in the community poll. One of the things about trying to advance this game on an island is that we are going to need a little bit of leeway to get some things like paper so we can do some enchanting, and with that we can explore further through the game. So thank you to everyone who voted with the resounding yes result that allowed me to come off and just get this sugarcane right here. And being true to my word, it was a case of not leaving the boat and then immediately heading straight back to the island afterwards and planting up that sugarcane. Now, one of the great things about sugarcane, if you've not really played around with this before, is that you can use bone meal on it and it will instantly grow to the full height, which then allowed me to just mine this stuff back down and then replant it. So the idea was to get as much of this as physically possible, let it start growing, and then this would be the basis for the paper in order to make the books. And while I was waiting for that to grow, I thought I'd have a go at fishing. Now, I know people have mixed views about how boring fishing can be, but it does have its benefits. Just like that, where we got the first enchanted item of the game, Mending 1 and Lure 2 on a fishing rod, meaning that the fish should come a bit quicker and at least the rod would keep mending itself, meaning I wouldn't need to get another one. Now, it's a shame that it wasn't Luck of the Sea as an enchant to bring the rarer items, but it wasn't very long at all before we got the first enchanted book, which was quite nice there, specifically looking at the Fire Protection 3 enchant for use later on. And then it was back again into the water, hoping for a bit more, and I did this for about an hour, but I got quite a few different items out of this that were useful. Got a Fortune 2 book here as well, and it wasn't too long after that until I got another rod appear, but this time this one had Unbreaking 3 and Lure 3. And that got me thinking, you know what, today's episode should be all about enchantments and getting ready to go further into the game. So the first thing I wanted to do was drop down an anvil and merge those two fishing rods. Now, if you're not familiar with the merging, this is actually quite a good technique. You can see here I put the two rods in and it wants to charge me 12 levels to merge them. But did you know, if you take them off and switch them around, just like that, sometimes you actually get a lower cost. And at 6 experience levels, I will definitely take that and go back to the spawner to grind more mobs. But before doing all of that, I wanted to go back to the sugarcane farm as we started this episode and start getting a load of sugarcane that we can turn into paper. And then it would be a trip to the cows to then stock up on some leather so we could start making some books and start the work on the enchantment room. Here you can see the shell of the building, and with all of the donations from the cows, the moody cows as we called them in episode, I think it was 1, was it? I managed to build up quite a few bookshelves just like this, get them into a configuration. I think there was 16 in total that we used, but you only really need 15 for the maximum level of enchants. And then of course the job was to go and get an enchanting table. So back underground then, it took me a little bit of time to stop being a noob and remember that flowing lava when used with water just turns into cobblestone. But after I'd finally got my head around that again, I remembered to put my water bucket down, take the water back out, and then I could get on with mining some obsidian. And this would enable me to get the enchanting table. So back above land then, it was over to the crafting station again, and this time to make the enchantment table, and this was a big jump forward in the game. Placing it down, the runes started to flow, and I was excited to see what enchantments we would get. But unfortunately, the game seemed to really have it in for me. Everything was either Unbreaking 3, or it was just really boring enchantments. I mean, the one that did pop up that looked really interesting was on the book, and that was that it was giving me Density 4, but let's face it, the the chances of getting a mace on this island was next to zero. So instead, I decided to have a bit of an epiphany, and I found, oh yeah, I remember you can enchant armor, of course you can. So I was looking at my iron chest plate, I saw that you could get protection 3 on it, so I raced over thinking, well, there's no point in wasting it on iron, so let's use up the last remaining diamonds that we've got to make a chest plate, and why not, we'll also get a helmet as well. So it was back over again, I put protection 3 onto the chest plate, I did a few more enchants as well, I knew that fire protection 3 was there, but looking around I actually found efficiency 4, which I put onto a pickaxe. And then this happened. After everything had re-rolled, I knew I wanted an enchanted bow, and I decided to take a gamble with everything that was left on Flame 1. But I didn't just get Flame 1, did I? I got Punch 2, Power 4, and Infinity 1. Now if that's not an OP bow, I don't know really what is. Back over at the anvil, I wanted to combine the Fortune 2 book that I fished up with the efficiency pickaxe that I had made previously, and then it was on to building where we would have the Nether Portal. So, I started to block this out in another area of the island, and then with a little bit of editing magic, Shazam! We have a new portal, just like that. But, we can't go racing straight into a nether portal without some proper preparation. So, it was time to make use of that auto farm, which I'd built and didn't actually have a use for particularly. So, we're not going to sit through and watch me do a whole stack of cobblestone, as entertaining as that may be, but one full stack of cobblestone is an absolute minimum before going through, because we need to set up a little base when we get through so it doesn't get blown to smithereens. And then I made myself a golden helmet and added the book, the first book that we fished up, and that was the Fire Protection 3. So we were ready. 3 levels of fire protection, 3 levels of protection. Let's go and see what is the other side of this. You didn't think I was going to put that in this episode as well, did you? Come on, we need at least something for episode 6. Well, I hope that was mildly entertaining, and if it was, then please do like the video and subscribe to the world of the Obsidian Noob. Episode 6 will be coming really soon, but in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.